Ceremonial swearing in, okay.
Oh, are we doing
Who
all
will
that
be
before?
swearing? Are you gonna be swearing?
I swear often. Oops, we're on YouTube already.
Yes, I'll do the swearing in
Okay,
for the community here.
we ready? Okay, all right. Good afternoon. It is 4:04. And I will call us to order for this last board meeting of the year. And I will start with the land acknowledgement. The Altadena Library District acknowledges its presence on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded land of the Gabrielino Tongva peoples. Altadena is located on the stolen homelands of the Hahamanga tribal band. The traditional territory of the Gabrielino Tongva is referred to as Tavangar, which includes the areas currently known as Los Angeles County, Riverside County, West San Bernardino County, parts of Orange County, as well as the 4 Southern Channel Islands. Entities such as the United States government and non-native settlers have subjected the Gabrielino Tongva peoples to historic and continuing injustices, including genocide, forced displacement, and cultural and linguistic erasure. Altadena Library commits to learning, educating, and informing its staff and residents of present-day Altadena about the rich histories, vibrant communities, and culture of the Gabrielino Tongva people, present and past, through our collection development, resources, and program offerings. Okay. So next, I will do a roll call. Trustee Lim.
Here.
Trustee Clark. Here. Trustee Capel.
Here.
And I am here. Next, we have our ceremonial swearing in for our newly appointed and elected board members for districts 1, 2, and 5. And Catalina, you will do that?
I will go ahead and lead that. So if I could have trustee Lim, trustee Wilkerson, and trustee Clark, go ahead and stand.
Oh, we have
We have to
do the
stand up, all
stand.
right. Here he is.
Super.
Say it if you.
Get that really good angle of myself.
I know.
That's why I was like, on the camera, that's super flattering.
Yeah, there we go.
Go
Stand.
ahead and have you raise your right hands. Okay, so do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California? That you take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that you will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which you are about to enter.
Yes.
All right, thank you so much. You are now officially sworn in.
Thank you. All right. Are there any items that need to be added to the closed session agenda? Or any reordering of the closed session agenda items? If not, then may I have an adoption of the closed session agenda?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. Is there any public comment for closed session?
Closed session? No, there is not.
Okay, then may I have a motion for us to move to closed session?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so the Board of Trustees will recess into closed session for the purposes of discussing or taking action on public employee performance evaluation at 4:08 PM. Okay, so. Okay, so we are reconvening to open session at 5:17 PM. There are no reportable actions from closed session. So do we need to do another roll call? No, right? It says it has it. Okay. Then can I have a motion to approve the agenda item or is there any reordering of the agenda item? And if not, can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Great. Is there any public comment on non-agenda or agenda items?
There was a request for public comments, but I haven't received a response yet. And so they're currently not here.
Okay, got it.
We'll keep an eye on it in case
Yeah.
they fill up.
Okay, thank you. So then we'll move to the consent calendar. Can I have a motion to approve the consent calendar as it is?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Yes, great. Okay, so then we will move to department updates and special presentations and special reports. Beginning with our service awards.
Yeah, okay, so we'll start with the 5-year awards. Unfortunately, one of the 5-year recipients wasn't able to make it tonight, Aaron Kimbrell. So we'll bring him back in January so that we can present to him in front of the board, if that works.
Okay.
The other 5-year award is me.
Yay.
Yeah.
Am I going to the mic or shall I present from here?
Whichever you like.
I would like to present from here. Hello, everyone. I don't know what the words are to do this since I've not ever done it before, but we are here to honor our wonderful library director, Nikki Winslow, for her 5 years of committed and consistent service to our library district. So with the help of a friend in Catalina, thank you very much, I wrote a little acrostic poem using your name, okay?
Okay.
So, in Not Your Average Bookworm, I inspires with her dedication, her wit, and her fashion sense. K, killing it with every outfit and every minute of the day, working with the community. K, knocking out every challenge with both wisdom and strength. And I, if you cross her, watch out, she just might change your life for the better. So that is what I have. Nikki. And then I'm going to actually invite our other trustees to also say some words.
Yeah, I can go first.
Yes, please.
So I was thinking about the 5 years that you've been here and what an absolutely insane 5 years those have been. I remember the first time I met you was at our, outside of like your interview process, was at our strategic planning meeting when we were trying to figure out where we were going and what we were doing. And what a weird place to get dropped in, I think, on your very first day, but you just did it. And I think that that has been the through line all the way. I mean, not 4 months later, we had to close the libraries because of COVID. And we got through that period of time and it had its ups and downs. And then we moved almost immediately into this massive undertaking of the building projects. And I just think about this sequence of challenges and how you have risen to every occasion. And I just give you so much credit for your grace and for your adaptability and your willingness to be flexible and creative, because you've certainly had challenge after challenge handed to you. And I just applaud you so much for the way that you have handled them.
Yeah, I think there's few people that would step into a public facing agency at just where we were at the time you took on this role. especially one that, like I said, is public facing and you know that every single thing you do, every single decision you make is gonna be publicly scrutinized. And I think to add on top of that, just the nature of being an independent special district and the fact that you take on roles and responsibilities that very few other library directors would ever go anywhere near. And done all of that while also very clearly putting us in a much better place than we were 5 years ago, without a doubt. And so I think, you know, the board is very lucky to have had you for these 5 years. The community is very lucky, and I hope the staff would agree with that too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
As the babyest member of the board until the new member comes. Yeah, just thank you for your service, you know, the interaction for me is only about 2 years old and, with another 4 to come. And, I think, it has been a journey and I think, the best is yet to come with the renovations and all the things they're gonna do with Bob and May. And, yeah, I hope we can continue to help you and to make the library better.
Thank you.
So, all that being said, we have a certificate to present to you. Your Employee Service Award and a card. And then if you all want to stand up and take a picture somewhere, is this a good? So silly.
Sounds fun. Like,
Okay, are we evenly distributed, more or less?
Yes, that's great, guys.
Good job. We're doing.
Yeah.
We're hugging.
Even the freshmen.
That's right, everybody gets.
How can it be the youngest?
Yeah, right, exactly.
now it's my turn to present. Should I present from here or over there? Here? Dave, you could come over here then too. Okay, so I have the honor of presenting to Tony Aguilar.
Woo!
I've been supervising Tony Aguilar for the past 5 years, and I've been so impressed by her dedication and commitment to her work with the Altadena Library District. Her enduring leadership and expertise in all things passport services is nothing short of remarkable. She leads a team of 2 that may be small, but are very mighty in all that they achieve. In the past year, her department has processed over 1,500 passport applications, answered over 5,000 phone calls,
Wow.
and provided information and direction to so many people that need help getting a passport, which can feel like a very helpless thing at times, right?
Yeah.
She strives to provide the best customer service experience for every person that visits the main library, both in and outside of the passport office, and receives regular compliments and praise for making it as seamless of a process as possible. Her loyalty, hard work, dedication, and positivity are so admirable and have served as a model for the ALD these past few decades, and I thank you for that. Your team was also pivotal in getting us through the stressful and unpredictable global pandemic, filling in to help with the curbside service, answering phone calls and live chat requests, digitizing files, you name it, whatever we asked them, they jumped up and helped us get through that time. To quote your fellow passport services coworker, Natalie Herrera, who unfortunately couldn't be here, she said that, quote, "From our highest highs to our lowest lows, you've been a source of inspiration for me, not just at work, but in life as well." It truly has been a privilege to have you not only as a coworker, but also as a friend.
I'm crying. Yeah, I know, it's like.
Happy 25th work anniversary, Tony. And here's to many more years of us working together.
Is that fine?
Please help me in congratulating and thanking
Oh,
Tony.
No sorries needed.
You want us to stand here?
do you want to stand next to the trustees?
Yeah, let's go by the
Yeah,
trustees.
that's over here.
Yeah. Yeah. But I like.
This out of the way.
For 25 years, you got the board. 25.
Oh, I thought she said 5. Oh, my God.
Oh.
25.
Thank you.
I know, she started working here when she was like 4.
All right, everyone. Three. 1, 2, 3, great. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I will also say, sorry, no, it's out of order, but, I appreciate, I've gotten, I think, 2 passports here. And I send people here just because it's so wonderful, efficient, and just, just a really great place to have the opportunity to get such an important, item and what it opens up for people. So such a wonderful, rewarding position that you have. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and uniformly across town, here in Pasadena, Sierra Madre, people say, oh, Pasadena, I got my passport there.
Yeah.
It was so great, which is never what people
Yeah.
say about the experience of like interacting with
With the passport.
the passport
Yes.
world. So just never heard anything but a rave review.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
I have the honor of the next award. Come on up, Victoria. I have to edit my speech because someone stole my joke about her being 25 years old. So I don't- So I have the honor of providing Victoria with her 35-year service award. I think we may need to do a check on that number of years because she just turned 25 this year. So she's worked in a number of positions within the district and now currently working in TS, and I have the honor of supervising her. 35 years in libraries is a significant amount of change. So anyone that can adapt and be successful, is extremely resourceful and resilient. So I think that speaks to her. She's a dedicated employee of the district and really enjoys interacting with patrons at all of our library events. We recently talked about how libraries used to operate without computers, and now it's pretty much, that's why, it's pretty much impossible to think about how we could have done it, but somehow we did, and she remembers that, so do I. Her current work is in acquisitions and technical services, and for those of you who don't know, I looked it up in the dictionary. I'm an IT person, so I, wanted to get a little technical. So it defines acquisitions as buying or obtaining an asset or an object, which is extremely simplistic if you actually think about the work that she does and how complicated it is from ordering a material to actually getting it into the library and putting it onto the desk. And so the fact that she knows what she's doing, and can make it look so easy, that process is, something to talk about for sure. She's excellent in her job. So her daughter Amanda, who happens to be here today, recently graduated college,
Wow.
and her son, Christian is an RN, and he actually interestingly works at the same hospital that my wife works at, which was an interesting fact when I found out that, when we started working together. So that was an interesting fact. So she enjoys in her free time, going to visit her daughter in, San Francisco, enjoying some new restaurants with some family and friends. Maybe a little dancing at some of the second Saturday events. Daily walks with coworkers. And then spending time with their family and sometimes maybe discussing some reality shows like Love is Blind with their coworkers, myself included. So I'm grateful to have worked with her over the past 3 years that I've been here. And Altadena Library District is grateful for all of her hard work and dedication over the past 35 years. And it's clear that she has a love for libraries and obviously Altadena as well. And we look forward to not hearing that you're gonna retire anytime soon, a few more years, we hope. Cause we're so happy to have you and, really appreciate everything you've done for helping out the district, so thank you.
Thank you. $35 years, what a commitment.
It's amazing.
I love it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Words of love.
We're taking pictures today. That's what we're doing. Yeah, right. Where do you want to think you want to be?
That's okay.
We're on this
Good, good,
side, maybe, and then I'll go over there. Yeah.
She's in charge. So whatever she says, whatever the president says.
Madam President.
Don't spend a week in place. At least a few hours. Yeah, I know you. We recently bought this. Yeah, I want us to accidentally wear it the same day. But we might have to coordinate it. Yeah. All right.
Are there more?
No.
Okay,
Wow.
thank you.
Very
all. That was awesome. Thank you. Okay, we will move on to our next item, which is, should I say not so exciting, but also very important, our financial audit.
Less heartwarming. but
Yes,
Also
exactly.
important.
2024 financial audit, do we have, oh, hello there.
Hello there.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Good to see you.
Good.
So are you gonna do any introduction or are we just turning it over
I
to?
think we can just turn it over to Paul.
Okay.
This is our what? Fourth year, Paul, that you've been presenting the audit, I believe.
Yes.
So he's
Yes.
by
Oh.
far-
All right. So, can I share my screen?
Yes. Is it not letting you?
Not
Here we
yet.
go. I got it, I think.
I got it now. All right. Good evening, everyone. I'm Paul Kmark, partner with Nigro and Nigro here to show you the results of the district's fiscal year ending June 30th, 2024, how the numbers came to rest there. Put together a little presentation for you of how the numbers came to rest and just some things that we as the auditor must speak about. So the scope of our work overall was to perform the audit test work of the entity's annual financial statements through report and report on the entity's internal control over financial reporting and on compliance in accordance with government auditing standards, as you are a government agency in the state of California. Our responsibility in accordance with professional standards is to form and express an opinion about whether the annual financial statements results that have been prepared by management are presented fairly in all material respects in accordance with accounting principles generally accepted in the United States of America. Our responsibility is to plan and perform the audit to obtain reasonable assurance, not absolute, about whether the annual financial statements are free of material statements throughout the report. And we are to consider the entity's internal controls and segregation of duties over accounting procedures and financial reporting as we perform our audit test work. Such considerations were solely for the purpose of determining our audit procedures and not to provide any assurance concerning such internal controls. We're giving you an overall opinion basically on financial reporting and the overall audit and how the numbers are there, not on the department's internal controls overall. So understand that. The audit results and auditor's unmodified opinion, that's a clean opinion, is being issued on the annual financial statements this year. We don't want any modifications to the standard language. The annual financial statements are fairly presented in all material respects overall. The adopted significant accounting policies have been consistently applied throughout the report. Estimates are considered reasonable for depreciation expense, pension expense, and OPEB expenses. Those are typically non-cash type of expenditures, so they are estimates. And required disclosures are properly reflected in the annual financial statements overall. The AICPA has issued what we call AUC 265 in communication of internal control related matters identified in the audit. And we'll report to you tonight that there are no material issues that arose to be reported to the governing board or management from this audit. However, if there were any minor issues, they were discussed orally and corrected by management at that point in time. So how do we make you better? Well, we look at this as an audit overall for government agencies. We get to see about 150 different agencies throughout the year, special districts throughout the state. And anything that we see there is best practices to help your accounting department, your finances, your budgeting, and other things. If we see something, we want to say something. And we believe that those best practice solutions, if conveyed to management, that would be considered your audit ROI. That's your return on the investment overall for having an auditor there to help you through the process, because special districts are very entrepreneurial and they do more with less, and anything we can help make the department better moving forward in financial reporting is, amenable. So overall, so any questions? We'll move on to the numbers on the next page. So the numbers, we're looking at this kind of a 50,000 foot level in the comparison of the 2 years in the fiscal periods there. So start off with your special assessment that was levied there on your community. 2.296, almost 2.3 million versus 2.217. So about an $80,000 increase there. Charges for services very steady between the two. And operating and capital grants bringing in a few more there for the revitalization of the district's building overall. So some more capital grants, about 300,000 more there overall. So property taxes came in about $178,000 more, so still churning there. But the big jump here, of course, is doubling your investment earnings by moving to a better, a California class, a better investment portfolio overall. And we doubled it there. So if we look here, we look down here, cash remained kind of consistent. We're only off about 25,000 there between the two periods. But if you look at the earnings overall, the earnings this year, 3.46%. So we're hoping for about 4%, but very close, 3.46 on the overall portfolio there. So we kind of audit to a mean. The mean was about 4% this year, looking towards that. So other revenues, minor, very comparable, 10,210. So 7.58 versus 6.43. Biggest jump, of course, from the capital grants and, of course, the investment earnings there for the year. So your big revenue stuff there, and that investment earnings, that's just manna from heaven. So just helping you out to pay for the new revitalizations of the building there. So salaries and wages, very consistent overall between the two periods there. Could call that a COLA raise or something else between the two periods there. Employee benefits, the changes in the CalPERS plan overall between the two periods, we had a credit in the prior year, and they're very consistent this year. So that's a big change. Not looking at, remember, we talked about estimates, and part of that estimate is your OPEB and your pension estimates in there, and that's factoring in right here. This is more of a typical presentation of what your employee benefits should see per year because of that big credit in the prior year. So materials and services, 240, we'll chalk that up to inflation, very consistent. Depreciation expense, non-cash, and of course on the new debt, as you're paying down more principal, we pay more principal, we should pay less interest, and that's what you're seeing here from 795 to 783, paying that debt down overall. So total expenditures 5.8 versus 4.4, so we got a positive to the reserves, 1.7 million there overall versus 2.0, very consistent there between the two periods. If we move to this number here to see, hey, well, cash didn't change, but what happened here? We got an increase here overall. So what's the difference? Well, the difference is overall, the capital assets, you're still utilizing cash that's coming in that affords you that increase there in the bottom line of the 1.74 million. We had some depreciation there overall. So the difference is about 1.5 million there is more spent in cash, utilizing your cash there overall from the bottom line. And then we had the bond principal payments here with $350,000, first big principal payment this year on the debts there. So if we look at your change in revenues and expenditures, your change in your capital expense, utilizing your money and your reserves there for the capital refurbishments, also paid out the principal. We got a little change there in accounts receivable. Difference of cash is you got a receivable but not cash. And then change in pension liability, that's the expenditure there that we're taking back as a credit to cash because there's no cash going out because it's an estimated non-cash amount. So we're at 41,648 versus 25,477. We're off about $16,000 in other little minor accruals there at the end of the year. So overall, pretty good year, good bottom line there, even with, we're going to continue to see as you move forward in your construction, more and more capital asset additions as things come on, utilizing your funds there from the debt that you issued overall for that capital revitalization. So any questions? Hopefully I was able to break that down to a checkbook aspect to give you kind of an overall view of how the numbers came to rest at the end of the period there. So.
Any
All right.
questions? Paul?
I'm not sure, Paul, if this is a question for you, or maybe it's a question for Christy when we get to financials. Where did we settle at the end of the year with money going back to reserves? Because we had some that went to our class account, that's our OPEB money that we're just basically
It's
banking.
the unfunded accrued liability. I transferred 225,000 into an account, a sub account with class. The number she gave us last month was around 700,000, but I don't know how much of that is like cash liquid or if it was just based on the final auditing numbers. But
Right.
Christy, you can answer that.
Sorry.
Paul, do you have the entire audit report up that you can share? We can go to the budget page, budget performance page.
Oh, it just blipped out. Hold on 1 second. Budget page.
Hold on. Got it. Oops. I apologize. So end of year, I was just looking, end of year revenue over expenditures. What are we looking at here? What was the difference? 610,000? Is that what I'm seeing?
For the
Over
positive,
what was
yeah, actual 710.
710, actually, yeah, actual. So 710. Now that's not all necessarily cash. It's revenue over expenditures, but it was enough where we could meet the board's the board's directive to invest any of the extra funds up into the budgeted amounts to a UAL account. So we did, so that'll be something different for next year, Paul. Sorry, took a minute for my camera, is that they'll have another restricted cash account in class specifically to help fund that unfunded liability. Rather than give it to CalPERS, the board decided to just put it in its own class account for right now, but restrict it for that purpose.
Any utilization of those funds per year to pay down in July each year, the unfunded portion? So you're building things up. Now you need to utilize what you've built up, and that's a good position right there to take every July when you have to make your unfunded portion payment, you can take out of that pool.
Right. So their liability is a lot larger than, this is the first amount that they're putting separate. So again, rather than give it to CalPERS to invest, the decision right now is to not pay down that liability. There's a lot of considerations that go into that, whether you give it to CalPERS or you feel better putting it in a fund yourself that will pay it down.
You still got to fund it each year. There's still the bulk payment that's going to come.
Well, we're funding the minimum, Paul,
Yeah,
but
they're
this
funding
is
the minimum.
additional.
This is an addition.
Yeah, all these addition, okay.
This is just the addition, what they want to start for not the required amount, but the optional amount that pays down their 1.8 or whatever that pension amount is.
Yeah, okay.
And because we're out earning CalPERS for the moment.
Yeah.
We're doing it that way.
Probably will continue to.
Yeah, if we look at this.
Go back to CalPERS.
Just going to look at the overall liability on the balance sheet here for the net pension liability. So you're at 3.366 versus 3.1 overall there.
Yeah, right.
And what you've been funding is in the back here.
It's roughly 200,000 a year, isn't it?
Yeah, so your district's covered payroll, So there's the contributions. Here's your contributions. So your contributions to the plan, 368, 434. That's with the payroll portion and the unfunded portion right there. So
Wait, does that 368, that our 225 that we just transferred is on top of that functionally, right?
yeah, so that will, so if you put a 225 extra, that'll show up this next year in the contribution over here. So any extra payments above and beyond will be over here.
Even if we just sit on it?
Well, if you sit on it, it's for you. It's not in CalPERS. So if it goes into,
Okay, that's what I'm saying, like
yeah,
it
if
wouldn't
it
show
goes-
up. Oh.
yeah, if it goes into the
Yeah.
CalPERS program, it would show up right there. So, yeah.
Okay.
Any
Any
further?
other questions?
Nope. Looks good.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks,
I just,
Paul.
thank you, Paul.
All right, I'll wait for a receive and file or just approval, whatever you guys are.
It's just
It's a receipt and file because it's just an informational.
informational, yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, from all of us at our firm and from myself personally, happy holidays to you all and a happy new year.
Thank you.
Thank
Happy
You
holidays.
also.
Talk to you guys later.
And then Kamala, if I can just make a comment, there won't be any financials reported tonight because the board meeting moved up 1 week. We don't have enough time to prepare them because we don't get county reports. They're not received till about the 10th of the month. So next month there will be 2 months presentation at the same time for financials.
Okay. Thank you. We'll expect that in January.
Okay. Unless there's any other questions for me, I'll say the same thing. Happy holidays, and I will see you all in 2025.
Thank you,
Thank
Christy.
you.
Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Okay, then let's move on to department update reports. Yes.
Our public commenter has
Okay.
entered the Zoom room, so if you would like to address his public comment or move that somewhere else on the agenda, he is here.
We can do it now, if that's appropriate, in terms of the
Procedure.
procedure, yes.
So go ahead and admit. Mr. Gadino, are you connected? Mr. Gadino, I've asked you to unmute.
Hello, can you hear me?
There we go.
Yes.
Yeah, John.
Great. Hang on here.
Instruction.
Yes, so, Mr. Gadino, if you could please introduce yourself. You will have about 3 minutes to address the board. I will begin timing you. When you start to speak, for your comments, the board may address your comment if they so wish. Otherwise, they are here to listen to your comment.
I missed that last part. Sorry.
So the board, the board will not respond to your public comments, but they are here to listen to you. I'm going to go ahead and time you as soon as you're ready to speak.
Okay, great. Good evening, board. I'm speaking on behalf of, I'm Dr. Jim Gaudino, speaking on behalf of my mother, Elizabeth Gaudino, who is soon to be 94 years old. And she is a taxpayer and property owner for over about 75 years now in Altadena. I'm hearing some background noise. Hello, I can't hear what's going on.
Yeah, there's some feedback happening on your end from your microphone but you can continue.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I'll continue. First of all, happy holidays to the trustees and the staff. A special thanks to Catalina and Dr. Clark for working with me about an issue that I'm going to describe briefly that came up this earlier this year, and also later on to Sarah Mars at NBS, who came in the middle of everything. I want to first thank you that thank someone there at the Altadena Library District for allowing my mother and myself to file a one-time only late filing for her 2024 very low income Measure Z exemption for her property taxes. She's gotten them in the past. We did not discover that there was a deadline, or what the deadline was. My mother was looking at her mail, and I was checking with her until after the deadline, which was last June. And the process really got started for us in July and August. And actually, I've got to say that I've learned another lesson that I want to share with you, perhaps as a quality improvement and other comments. The process is essentially broken, and it wasn't just asking for a approval for a late filing for that exemption, but the whole process made it clear to me that the Board of Trustees, the contracted organization NBS, and the tax assessor's office, LA County Tax Assessor's Office, and tax collector's office really don't have processes worked out that make it smooth to navigate if you're a public, from the public. It's actually taken months and multiple contacts on myself. And finally, about maybe in September or October, NBS, I think they were the people that gave me the news. They were willing to consider a late exemption, which thank you, I appreciate, and we filed that. But that process, I want to tell you, is still going on. And again, it illustrates the issue that hello?
Your 3 minutes are up, sir.
Would you repeat that? Because I can't hear you that well.
Oh, your 3 minutes are up for your public comment.
I have one other thing that I would like to bring up, especially because it was last October that I made comments, and I will summarize.
If you'd like to submit additional comment, you may do so by email. They can be read at the next meeting, or you can also speak again in person at the next meeting.
I just say that I was appalled at the comments that I heard back from President Capel last October in his comment back to me.
We received public comment, so I'm sorry. Everybody receives their 3 minutes. I'm so sorry.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Catalina, for your support with that. Okay, so let us return to the agenda. Is there any feedback or comments from the trustees on the department updates?
I have a couple of, nobody else does. So on the report is talking about all of the engagement, especially around teens in the community. I mean, not having kids myself, I do know enough that the teens are probably the hardest group to make inroads with. And just to see all of the great work that the staff is doing to continually keep pushing on that issue, especially just the really high level of engagement that got reported out from the event at Pasadena High School. So yeah, really great to continue to see that and the effort that's going into it. So thank you on that. And then I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that, we had our facilities meeting this morning, our weekly meeting on the projects, and we finally got to see photos of drywall being hung at the literacy center at Bob Lucas. So seeing that this morning and then seeing the report on just coming out from the literacy services, and especially the memoir workshop, like that was super touching. So I can't wait to see where that program's gonna go when they get to have their own dedicated space. It's gonna be amazing when we get to reopen that. Thank you to everybody involved.
Thank you. Any other notes from the department reports?
Was it an event and all the library folks won the turkey? So-
That's all.
It's hilarious.
I saw
Yeah.
that. Nice.
We're a
I,
pretty lucky bunch.
I
I won a basket at Zip and Shop.
I won something at clergy.
Wow.
I had my ticket drawn at Heritage on Saturday.
Gotta go with you guys to buy lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go to events, everyone, and grab them.
You won something also?
Yeah, a gift card at CLA.
Wow. Okay, it's a winning bunch.
Interesting.
All right.
Okay. Right. Well, I thank you all again, as usual, for your robust, reports. It's always my favorite part of the package to read, so thank you.
Well, I just had a quick comment. Boyd Georgie's son, is that how you say his name? Can you talk more about that? Because I was just admiring in the office, all the old drawings. And,
I will
yeah.
during my report.
Oh, okay, so it's later. Got it. Didn't know sequence and events.
Okay. Well, let's shuffle on forward. We don't have any reports from the support groups.
But we did get a check
Oh,
from the foundation
share.
while we were in closed session.
Oh.
Hey.
Mark was here, he couldn't hang out, so this is their $20,000 contribution.
Yeah.
We'll throw that in.
Okay.
Very good.
This is from
The foundation.
the foundation, so we
For
thank,
their annual gift.
yeah, thank you to the foundation for their annual gift. Wonderful. Okay, then we will move to administrative updates, and that is you.
Thank you. Good evening. So in terms of staffing updates, we're very pleased to welcome Joe Walsh to the Altadena Library District team. He will be starting on Wednesday of this week as our newest library aide. Joe has actually been a volunteer with us since the beginning of this year. So we stole another of Catalina's recruits. It's a very robust pipeline. I mean, we enjoy a lot, so
That's
keep
what
it
it's
up.
for. Good job.
So we'll be excited to get him on board. In terms of recruitment, we continue to recruit for the adult services manager position. Last week and this week, we've been doing some screening interviews with some candidates that look somewhat promising, it seems like, so we should be moving forward with next step interviews as well. So fingers crossed, we'll be able to identify an adult services manager. I do anticipate, posting for our other open management position, which is youth and family services, probably early in 2025. So, you know, if someone that loves children and wants to work with us, spread the word. We also posted a recruitment for our part-time facilities worker back in October. And I'm very excited to share that we made an offer and it was accepted and we're going through the onboarding process right now. And I
Nice.
anticipate that person to start in the beginning of January,
Awesome.
which means we will have facilities assistance during all service hours, including Saturdays.
Yes.
Yeah. So real briefly with marketing, as we mentioned last month and gave lots of kudos to the team that did it. The ALD website has been migrated completely. Bryn and David and others are continuing to come across little issues and continue to fix those as they come up. She is planning a full review of ADA compliance, starting in January with the new site. So again, congratulations to them on such an amazing feat in getting the website migrated. I was told that in other organizations that would put an RFP out for this would be like a $25,000 to $50,000 contract and would probably take anywhere from 8 to 12 months.
Correct.
And our team did it as part of their job functions in like, what, a month, 6 weeks? So
Little.
kudos to the team
Incredible.
for doing that. Marketing provided many written comments for me as usual. Thanks to Bryn for always putting together such amazing comments and making me sound so good. She's also been busy working on the 2023-24 annual report. The plan is to present that at the January board meeting, so looking forward to that. And then the other thing I'll highlight is that I feel like we've spent a lot of time in the last month helping local organizations publicize their many holiday events and other things going on. If you don't subscribe to Altadena Connections, I highly recommend it. She really does a great job of getting the word out, and there's been a lot of things going on of late. So thanks to Bryn for always staying on top of that. So as those of you that were here, we did wish Trustee Terry Andrews farewell. Thank you to everyone for your wonderful comments, and I just wanted to say that he will be missed, and big shoes to fill, I would say, with the person that we appoint next month.
Here.
So I did receive a visit from Boyd Georgie's son, Carl, on December 2nd, just randomly. I think it was right before our facilities committee meeting, right? Him and his wife, I believe their family has a home in Laguna Beach. They said, so they've been hanging out there for Thanksgiving and the holiday. I believe they live in Maryland is what he said, but they were very interested in all the drawings on the walls. And I believe we're visiting other buildings or houses in the surrounding communities that his father helped design. So I do need to work on getting his contact information because I didn't, because as the facilities committee recommended, we should be inviting him to future like groundbreaking and grand opening events. So yeah, it was pretty cool to meet him. And like, I feel like he was anecdotally talking about being here during construction, you know, like he was part of the process of playing in the construction site. So that was a really fun surprise.
And you said he liked the plans, right?
Oh, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
did
that's
show
important.
him the boards. We spent some time looking at them. Yeah, so
Is
he was supportive of what we're doing.
Is he also in the business? Like, did he walk in his dad's footsteps?
We stalked him on LinkedIn.
He works in energy.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Well, if
So
you can get
we're
us a
into
killer
it.
deal on some solar panels.
we're gonna find it. We will find it. So if you're listening, Mr. Georgie, just kidding. So in terms of programming and partnership, we had a very busy month celebrating Native American Heritage Month in partnership with the Gabrielina Tongva Nation. They led workshops on presenting the creation story, as well as the significance of tobacco, its usage and how to gather and grow one's own, as well as the significance of pictographs in their culture and natural elements used to create the art. Thank you to Ashley and the public services staff for providing such a robust series of programs. It's always very impressive to me how they can pull all of that together, especially in partnership with groups in the community. Also, kudos to Ashley for her tireless and continued support of our Chamber of Commerce. She serves on their board and helped them, basically made sure they could now offer hybrid meetings. So last month was the first time they had their board meeting both in person and on Zoom. Up until now, it's just been Zoom, right? So she helped make that happen. So thank you to her for, and they had over 30 people attend. So way to go, you know? In addition to that, she was very pivotal in their 4th annual Sip and Shop event that took place the night before Christmas Tree Lane's Lighting Festival, which was also very well attended and popular. And we participated in the Chamber's first ever Sip, Shop, and Stroll campaign where people that attended the event, I believe, were given information and encouraged to go to different businesses where they could get some kind of prize or handout for participating. So well done, Ashley. In addition to that, her and our teen librarian, Ben Lee, attended a foster fit training pilot workshop hosted by the manager of foster youth programs at Planned Parenthood Pasadena and San Gabriel Valley. I do know the staff have done a really great job of trying to connect with foster youth in the community and support them in any way that we can. I believe most recently we did a toy drive and a clothing drive, which was organized by our Teen Leadership Council. So thank you for continuing to support the kids in the community that really need it more than anybody else. Again, we continue to promote the Poets Laureate program. They had a program this past weekend, and I believe the deadline to submit was yesterday. So, they've been receiving poetry that will then be published next year virtually. This is the year that it won't be a print publication, but we continue to support them in those efforts. And then lastly, I'll just mention that, I attended the Christmas Tree Lane Lighting Festival ceremony on December the 7th. Normally, it's the second Saturday. This year it was the first, after a public outcry to have the lights on longer, which I think makes lots of sense when you think about how long they take putting them up and taking them down. It was a little bittersweet because, Senator Portantino was there. This was basically like his last hurrah, now that, he was termed out. And I got to meet his replacement, which was great to form that connection. She was the former mayor of Alhambra, where I live, so we sort of bonded over that. So good to have that connection in case we ever need to give her a call, because we love our elected officials. And it was the busiest. Did any of you go?
It's too busy.
It was, I mean, I predicted it was gonna be crazy, because like 2024, to me, everything I go to, there's tons of people.
Yeah.
It seems like we're
Yeah.
out. But it was like, I had to use the restroom in my office, and like to get through the parking lot, it was like, you almost had to like push people out of the way.
Mhm.
So like, congrats to them on a very well attended and very, like, went really smooth. It was a great event. So congratulations to them on their 104th lighting festival. And I think that's it. So happy holidays to everyone.
Just a
Can't
couple
believe it's the end of
Yeah.
2024 already, and happy to answer any questions you might have.
I heard about the lighting ceremony just randomly from someone not at all associated with Altadena, and they found out I was living here and also associated with it. Like, oh my God, we went to that lighting ceremony. It was so amazing. It's so beautiful. Have you ever gone? I was like, no, I can't go. It's too many people. But I heard that it was really, really lovely. And then I also did want to say, I love did the teens come up with those ideas themselves with regards to the toy drive for the agencies and the clothing drive?
I believe so.
That was
Not
really
certain,
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty sure they did.
Mhm.
Yeah, I had no idea that Planned Parenthood had its own
that was
foster youth
amazing.
program too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they, it was like a pilot thing to train other people so
Mm.
that they know more about how the system works and,
That's amazing.
yeah.
smart and cool.
Mhm.
That is really cool. I did a workshop with Friends Indeed, which, you know, they're close to that, building. And there were a lot of questions about like what happens after, like if someone has to make a report. So I think that education program and talking about like how the system actually works would be really, really useful. Like across, like, you know, I hope it gets more, global notice. Yeah, that was really cool to read. Any other questions or comments? All right, thank you very much, Nikki, for your report. Okay, then we have no standing committee reports. We have something from the facilities committee.
Sure, so, this month you have in your board package a whole bunch of photos. And I'm excited to say that those photos are already out of date. So this morning at Facilities Committee, we saw a whole new round of photos from Bob Lucas. Installation is in, drywall is in for the majority of Bob Lucas. We saw the Literacy Center fully drywalled in, it needs to be mudded and taped. It looks awesome. It is crazy just looking at these photos, how much bigger it looks already. So everything is looking super good at Bob Lucas. As I think all of you know, we are in the throes of the EIR process. So that is unfolding now. The notice of preparation will be issued tomorrow. And what that means is that we'll be formally starting, the notice of preparation is the thing where we say, hey, we're doing this project. Is there anything that you think we should be concerned about? We're concerned about the historical value of the buildings and the environmental impact and the land, and it's a chance for people to say like, I'm concerned about this too. And so we hope people will take a look at the notice of preparation and submit comments. It will go out through all of the library communications channels. It will be posted physically here in the library. It will be posted on the county website. There will be lots of ways people can see that. and folks can submit comments, all the way through holidays and into January. I believe the deadline is January
She said 21st.
21st, I want to say. And we'll make sure that everybody has links to that. It'll certainly be on the library website. But this is sort of the first phase. People say, hey, this is what I should be concerned about. We then go into the full environmental impact review process where we talk about how we're going to address all of those concerns and mitigate any issues that exist. So right now, we are trying to move that timeline as rapidly as we are able to. There are certain statute mandated comment periods, like the one we're coming into now, where, you know, members of the public have a certain amount of time to respond. There are also some review periods that LA County has, and we're hoping that if we're able to shorten some of those review periods a little bit, and we don't need a whole lot of back and forth because we have done all of this work already on our end, we can sort of move the process forward. Right now, and this may change, but the latest information that we have is that we're looking at, working through the EIR process and then the CUP process. And hopefully being able to begin construction on Main October of 2025. I know that that is later than we had originally hoped. We had hoped we'd be able to reopen Bob, close Main and start construction. I don't think that's gonna be possible just with the schedule that they have laid out, but we're gonna move it as aggressively as we can. And I wanna give a big thank you to everybody in Catherine Barger's office who have been very helpful to us in moving the process. It can be unwieldy and they have been really, really helpful, and we are gonna continue calling on them to help us as we go through. But that's sort of the latest. As we have more information, obviously, we will bring it back to you. But yeah, happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for Trustee Clark? Okay. Thank you so much. We do not have any unfinished business, so we will move to new business, the first being review and approval of the naming rights agreement by and between the Altadena Library and donor Stephanie Tombrello. Who will be reporting on that?
I can start.
Okay.
Katie wants to add, she can. So for approximately, I can't remember how long it's been now, but the last year to year and a half, we've been communicating with, for what was a long time, an anonymous donor who was potentially looking at a naming opportunity related to the main library project. Through many communications, we were told that it would be approximately $100,000, which is what it ended up being as the total amount. And once that was established, we were asked to send a list of potential naming spaces, and we sent for both library buildings. At that point, Ms. Tombrello was identified, Trustee Clark and I sat down with her, discussed the possible options, and we felt very strongly that the best space is what we're calling the north patio, which is the additional space that we're going to be putting for programming and other things on the north side of the building, just outside. And she agreed. There was a couple other spaces we looked at, but we thought that being a new space, it can kind of become whatever we call it based on this new outdoor area. So we do have our naming rights policy. Part of that is an application form. So as you can see in the board package, we did redact some of her personal information, but that was the application to identify that space. And then once that was completed, we also have the resolution, right? Yeah, the naming rights agreement itself that goes into more detail about how much it's going to be, what the space is, and then once the board approves this, as long as you do, then her and I will both sign off, and her plan is to wire us the funds by the end of this calendar year. Anything to add to that?
Yeah, a couple of things. So I just wanted to speak a little bit, and we'll obviously have more to say as we get further down the line. But the two individuals for whom Ms. Tombrello is wanting to name this space, it's her late husband, Thomas A. Tombrello Jr., and her late daughter, Kirsten Arusha, both of whom were longtime dedicated users, lovers of the Altadena Library. enjoyed spending a lot of time here. We're both very dedicated readers. And part of her hope was that we would be able to find a space that would carry their names and that would also be supportive of people who shared that same love of reading, that, you know, was a space for families and for young children. And so we're just so happy that we found a good fit and that we're able to commemorate the two of them and the many positive, wonderful experiences that they had with reading and with this library, and that we'll be able to move that forward and share that memory with other folks. So we're very grateful to Stephanie and to her whole family. And we're so excited to move forward with this piece of the building project. It will be a totally new space. And I think it's going to be just transformative for the way that we use that side of the building for the library, for our sort of ability to have really cool indoor-outdoor programming. So yeah, a huge debt of gratitude to Stephanie for allowing this to be something that we can move forward with as part of our building projects.
And I guess I will add, at one point, this became an ad alternate.
Yes.
Because it was identified as something we couldn't afford as part of the project once cost estimates changed. So in talking to her and getting to the point where we thought we were gonna receive the gift, it is the seed money that's put this back in the project.
Yeah.
So we're really grateful to her because the last estimate was like 280,000, I think, but like $100,000, like will make it work. And
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be such an impactful space. So big thank you to her for getting it back in the project.
Yeah, it's a game changer.
And I'm sorry, I have a question.
Yeah.
It will be, I don't recall seeing it, but, forever. Like,
So how does that
it-
work?
Yeah.
So the way the naming rights agreement works, is, so it's exclusive naming rights, so it will be the Thomas A. Tombrello Jr. and Kirsten Arisha Reading Pavilion, that's what it'll be called, it can't be called anything else, that's what we'll call it. And it will continue for, it can continue as long as the board determines, like we have sole discretion on that, but the agreement that we're approving hopefully tonight is for 50 years or for the useful life of the asset. So if there's an earthquake and the building falls down and we decide not to rebuild it, like that's the end. But after 50 years, then that would be the extent of the agreement. The board can absolutely continue to leave it in place. If for some reason, again, we have a landslide, the north side of the building becomes unusable, by the terms of the agreement, we're supposed to like sort of commemorate that or shift it so that it, you know, we're acknowledging that space if for whatever reason that is no longer a functional space. If it is not functional, we have bigger problems, but like, yeah. So the agreement is explicitly for 50 years, but it can continue indefinitely at the board's discretion.
Got it, thank you. Other questions? Okay, then, no other discussion. Can we get a motion on the floor to approve the naming rights agreement between the Altadena Library District and donor Stephanie Tombrello to be made effective December 17th, tomorrow?
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Nice work.
Amazing.
Good. And I heard you all say that it's been a process over time, so I appreciate you all, your persistence in sticking to that. Okay, so moving on to item B, review and approval of the district operational plan for 2024. 24?
It's 25.
25?
The agenda is
Yeah.
not correct.
Yes, I need to make a reflection.
But the agenda item, which is B, does say review and approval of the ALD operational plan 2025. As you can see from the report, very similar process as we've had for the past few years. Again, basing the operational plan on our 3 service priorities, which are we are curious, we are connectors, and we are neighbors. As we have done in the past, the management team came together to identify 2 to 3 goals, like overarching goals per service priority. From there, went to their departments, talked to their staff to help develop the objectives that you see in the work package tonight. As I mentioned in the report, a lot of the focus is on our building projects. which is also in alignment with my goals related to my performance evaluation as well. Because in addition to closing the main library for renovation, we're also gonna be reopening the Bob Lucas Library. So we did, add and edit many objectives around making sure that we're gonna continue to offer services and programming in as seamless a manner as possible. And then in addition to the logistics around both of the projects, the other focus is on how we're gonna continue to offer programming and services out in the community, which is something that, you know, we've been continuing to try to expand our footprint these last few years in anticipation of the closure, especially of the main library. So really, again, working with staff to figure out like a consistent schedule for both of the vans, creating pop-up opportunities or programs with community organizations and businesses, and, you know, figuring out the best way to keep everybody busy throughout the main library closure especially. So again, excited for another year of checking things off the list and happy to answer any questions you might have.
Go ahead.
I have a question around exactly what we've been dealing with today, which is the sort of unknown factor in what the closure schedule. So, I mean, obviously, a lot of these dates will shift. Is it your feeling that most of these objectives will remain more or less the same, and it's just the timing
Right.
that will move?
Yeah.
That's what it seemed like to me. Okay, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
it's hard to say because like originally, I mean, like the Bob Lucas ones, we know Bob, we're gonna be
Right.
reopening more than likely in May.
Right.
So making sure that we're ready for that. But at the same time, I think many of the deadlines are gonna have to fall in alignment with that as well, with the main project, because we're gonna have to look at staffing
Yeah.
in terms of like, if both buildings are open, what does that look like? I did have a good conversation in closed session with the board about like how we can maybe ramp up Bob and taper off Main. So that could potentially affect some of these objectives as well. But it was really hard to write them.
Yeah.
Not really knowing a solid timeline and what that looks like, so.
Yep.
I don't know if that answers your question.
It does. Yeah, I think it's impossible to
Yeah.
know what that's gonna look like right now, but
But I think the point is that we're definitely very worried about it and talking about it every week at the
Yeah.
management team meetings, so. Gonna dominate the conversation for many months to come.
mhm.
So just think how amazing it's gonna be when
It's gonna
everything's
be
done.
Yeah, in 2027, we're gonna be like, man, I like, it's so easy.
Yeah, like, oh my
Okay,
god,
now.
Lord.
Yeah, exactly.
We have to
Oh,
find new
gosh.
projects.
Stop it,
everybody-
Jason.
I might start thinking about that now. Okay, I had a question, just curious, is the REIT local, shop local, is it sunsetting? Or is it gonna continue?
It's continuing.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay, and how's it
Bigger
going?
and better. So we are starting with the businesses that have already been enrolled, and we're re-engaging with them. And then once a quarter, we're gonna choose one of them to do a program with, where they come in and like talk
Mhm.
about their business, maybe give like some inside
Okay,
scoop that you wouldn't know. And then we're also gonna create a kit or something that goes into Library of Things with them. So like for Callisto, it's gonna be something along the lines of tea, or like a tea blending something
Mhm.
kit or another. So that's the direction they're going in.
okay. Got it.
This is potentially not a helpful comment. I'm gonna say that before I say it.
Restart.
Yeah, I know. So just buckle up. It's gonna be, no, but I'm just thinking about like, as I think you guys know, there is a discussion at the foundation about like how they're gonna think about Taste of Dina going forward. Obviously, with the closure of Maine, it'll look different. The nature of the event will look different. It just occurs to me, if we're gonna have spotlighted businesses throughout the year as part of Read Local, Shop Local, if there's a way to have those businesses be the highlighted presenters, something at Taste of Dina, like so that there's a sort of tie-in through what we're doing programmatically as well as what we're doing with the foundation. Again, I'm not trying to get in anybody's business, but it just occurs to me that if there's a way to get sort of more exposure
Yeah.
for local businesses, it could be a way of like making it worth their while to
Mhm.
sort of be part of the whole ecosystem.
Other questions about the operational plan? So this is an action item. If there's no other discussion, can we get a motion to approve the district operational plan for 2025?
So moved.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
All right, cool beans, thank you. All right, we have a request to review and approve the early closure of the library on 12/31. Why would we need to do that?
Well, when we brought the closures to the board last year, I don't think we looked at what day of the week it was, and, New Year's Eve falls on a Tuesday, which is a night that we close at 8 o'clock.
Mhm.
So next year it'll be Wednesday, we normally close at 6, so it's not an issue, but we're asking that we can close at 6 o'clock so people can go out and enjoy their New Year's Eve.
I'm gonna have to replan my whole New Year's Eve now. I was gonna be here from 6 to 8 p.m., 6 to 8 p.m. That was what I was gonna do.
Your warm up?
That was my warm up. Yeah, exactly.
Bring the countdown here to the library.
That's right.
Just the other direction.
Okay, well, if there's no other questions or objections, can we have a motion to approve the early closure of the library on 12/31?
So moved.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Excellent. All right. Last new business item, review and approval of the district director's contract amendment.
So subsequent to the annual evaluation process, which we concluded today, I would like to propose a 5% increase in the director's compensation package to be sort of noted and amended in her contract.
Is there a second? You have the motion, right?
Yeah,
Is there
that's- I moved that.
any
I'll second.
discussion? Second, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All righty. Thank you. All right, let's move on to governance. Exciting time.
Here we go.
I'll go ahead and present this item.
Yes.
So every December, the board comes together and decides who are going to be the coming year's officers as well as liaisons, who's going to serve on committees. And then the new president can also decide if there are going to be any new committee formations. So at this time, if you'd like, I attached this year's board roles for your review. But we're gonna start off with president. So the way that works is board discusses, nominates somebody. They may vote on that nomination, discuss before they do that. You'll go ahead and do that as well for secretary. And then after that, you can have discussion as well about who's gonna be service liaisons and who's gonna serve on committees.
So I know this answer is no, but I just want to ask it. We're 4 here and we could not push this, right? So after the 5th member is appointed,
We cannot.
Cannot, right.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask related to that, but I don't know, as an alternative to doing that, and I don't even know if this is possible, I mean, our rules might even be silent on it. Would it make sense to keep folks in the same roles for a month? Right, so we still go through the, ostensibly we just. And then, can you reopen that issue? Like, could we reopen this? Let's say we appoint somebody in January, could we revisit it in February?
So, no, so we're required by statute, and this is in this is in the Education Act, which is our establishing statute. We're required by statute to elect our officers
right?
in December once a year. So the statute does not envision like messing around with that.
Mm.
What we could potentially do is we could leave some open slots for this new person and say, guess what? Welcome to the board. You're gonna be on these.
Budget committee, baby.
I mean, otherwise, if we appoint just to, you know, yes, best one, but like, we could do that, or we could, you know. We could come back to some of the committee discussions, but the officer elections have to happen tonight.
That's what I was gonna ask, if we can do, because there's just really two officers. And then could the committees and the liaisons be done when we are full
Yes,
set?
yes,
In January.
yes.
Yeah.
The president could decide to, again, dissolve standing committees, keep them going, start a new one,
Well, the president can't dissolve a standing committee. That has to happen by vote of the board.
Does-
an ad hoc.
Yeah, so I did have a question related to that. We don't have to formally dissolve any ad hoc committees. They just kind of go away.
You can choose at any board meeting to have them go away or start.
But we don't have to does it have to be, so we had the election.
Yeah, why is it not
Committee.
here? Yeah.
Do we just, it's gone since we no longer have use for it, or do we have to formally say this is done?
It's just done.
It's gone, okay.
Because
Got
when
it.
you establish a committee, you set the scope and the duration. So you say this exists for the purpose of doing this thing.
Mhm.
When that thing is accomplished, it evaporates.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't need to vote on whether or not it's done.
Yeah.
So can we say, it sounds like we are in some preliminary agreement that couldn't we do the officers now and then do the rest later? Are we in agreement with that, or do
Is
you
that
have
legal?
any opposition?
You can, you can choose to elect to the committees once you have your fifth board member.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little rough on poor board member number 5, right? It's like, welcome to the board, you just got appointed, what committee do you wanna be on? Like, they don't know.
I believe that as someone who lived through that, it is what it
I
is.
hope they would have some idea.
I hope- yeah.
If they're applying to be, I mean, I hope they're paying at least a little bit of attention.
Listen to that, board members.
Well, so it sounds like there's two alternatives. One is we do it all, but we leave space,
We gotta leave, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
right?
finish your
Is
thought.
that right? So leave space, or we only do the officers and then wait. Does that sound fair?
It is, I would suggest potentially appointing a chair of each committee. I don't know that you would appoint a new person as a
Mhm.
chair of a committee. And
Right.
I'm honestly, I'm thinking about facilities, like, we need some
Right.
continuity there.
Right.
So I would suggest maybe tonight we do officers and committee chairs and then leave committee constituents and liaisons to January. If that
I
feels
like that
reasonable?
idea. Yep,
Okay,
that sounds good to me.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, cause I agree. I would like to have people have input what they wanna do.
yeah.
You wouldn't have the new person chair the committee.
I don't think
Yeah,
so. I think that
no.
would be a little unreasonable.
Yeah. Okay, so we're in agreement
all.
with that piece.
Okay, Emily?
That being said, is anyone, so moving on to the officers, is anyone chomping at the bit to be president this next coming year? Who wants to do it?
I've really enjoyed your term in office.
I do think it's been good, I have to say.
It's been seamless,
Oh, my.
you know, not a single.
No
speed
smoking.
bump.
Okay, so then if no one wants to do it, I will gladly do it another year,
Right.
once more. I will say.
But you've got 4 amazing years ahead of you.
Once more. I will say, I will do it once more. But that is again, if no one is like desiring of the opportunity. Speak now or forever hold your peace.
I nominate Camila, board president.
Okay,
I was second.
all right. All in favor? And I will abstain. No, I'm sorry. I know.
You're outvoted. Yeah, yeah.
All right, okay, so that's that. Okay,
So secretary, is there someone that would love to take on this role?
Who has the nicest signature?
Um.
We've been rotating it. Boone, it's you right now, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
At this point, we've all done it.
We've all done,
I
I
know.
mean, I think it's back around to me, or we could have the new person do it. I don't care.
No, not
Have-
the new
have to-
person.
Oh, we can't have the new
because-
person do
because
it. Yeah,
then
they're
they'll
not
have
here.
Yeah.
They're not,
And then-
never mind. Yeah, yeah.
And also then they'd have to run the meeting when I'm not here.
That seems, yeah, I can do it. It's my turn.
Make your new person do it and then Camila calls out sick in January.
Right. Yeah, that'd be pretty brutal.
Guess what? Okay, so then Katie, you're volunteering your service.
I'll do it. Fair.
All right,
Nominate Katie.
can I second? Am I allowed to do that?
You have to have somebody else.
Okay,
I will second.
there we go. All in favor? Yes.
Aye.
Okay, so we have a president and a secretary. Good job, everyone. All right, here we go. I actually wanted to talk government liaison. Who's gonna do that?
I don't know. He's
I
gonna be able to
know.
do what Terry did. He did such a
Exactly.
killer job.
I know.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about that.
Well, one thing we talked about a little bit, and we might could sit on this for a hot second. We talked about kind of reviewing the liaison roles and thinking about what we would
Yeah.
like them to be. I know they exist in the bylaws and they're sort of laid out per the bylaws, but it might be worth having more of a conversation, especially once we have our additional member,
Yeah.
about what those liaison roles look like, what the expectations are, what we think they could be.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'd be okay punting this
Okay.
for a month or two, and maybe even at the retreat, we can talk about this a little bit.
Yeah, were we punting all three of the liaisons?
Yes, I wanted to talk about that one because I was curious about, because I've been thinking
A
about,
long-standing,
yeah.
Yeah.
I was also thinking, can he come and, like, how did he even do what he did? I don't even know what his process was. Can he present to us? Come and visit us one last time? Like, what did he do to
Ask him.
find
good
his
question.
I know he
work?
paid really close attention to all the CSDA
CSDA.
stuff that was coming out, and he
Yeah,
was like really good at
CLA.
summarizing and.
Yeah,
And he went up to Sacramento a couple of times for like
Mhm.
lobbying days with
I feel like
CSDA.
he's on listservs, no?
Yeah, he's,
He has to be,
he
right?
gets mail, he gets contacted by them,
Yeah.
so I can connect whoever the new liaison is with all of Terry's contacts.
would that be reasonable to have him kind of run down his process?
Or just document it even, if he doesn't
Yeah.
wanna come in and give a spiel about it, just like document what he did, so we have it.
Can we ask him what he would
I
prefer?
can connect with him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if he would either come and present on how he did his magic or create a manual for.
I don't forget Terry to get.
No, I'm totally joking, but like basically, but document like, this is what I did. You
Yeah.
know, if he can't speak it to us, he needs, write it to us or
Sure.
something. Yeah. Okay, so then we'll come back to the liaison roles. But then moving on to our three committees, the budget, the facilities, and the community facilities district, and then the facilities committees, which is the ad hoc one. 100%, we need to keep continuity with the committee that you're on, so.
Yeah,
I
I'd like to
imagine-
just keep doing the thing. We're at meeting 167 as of today,
Yeah.
and boy, it just feels like 89.
Yeah.
Just, yeah,
And
no,
50
we're going,
was Yesterday.
yeah, exactly.
And in case there's any question, I would just add, like, I think it got touched on throughout today's meeting, but like Katie and Nikki do a crap ton of work around the
Mhm.
facilities project that goes way beyond the once a week hour meeting. I think the amount of work that went into just simply lining up everything process wise for the donation that we
Yeah.
so wonderfully received officially tonight, on top of everything else, like it's a huge amount of work, and I think like super appreciate folks that can still continue.
Yeah.
The fact that Katie can still continue to put in that time is amazing, so.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a lift, like no joke, but I think everybody on the facilities committee, whether it's Nikki or other staff members who are there every single time, our consultants, like it's, you know, we're figuring it out, but it's a big project.
With that one, do we want to move the chair, I mean, the member, or are you still good to be the member, or do we wanna, is that something that we would want the fifth person to step into? Or do we want to fill it?
For me personally, I'd be open to somebody else taking that if they want. I mean, I'm just to be, yeah, like super honest, my personal schedule is a bit out of control right now, and I've been missing a lot of the Monday meetings in particular. So if there's somebody else, a new person or any of you who want to take it on, I think.
I have mixed feelings about it, because it's a lot to walk into.
Yeah.
Like, the nice thing with you is you have all of the background. So if anything, I would suggest a different trustee, current trustee, that at
Right.
least,
Yeah, I'd
Has a
say
background in
one of the
projects
two of
too.
you, I
Yeah.
think for a new person,
yeah,
That's too much.
too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was gonna
Design
offer to
it.
take on because it's not a whole lot to be done, I think, going forward, at least immediately, I'd be willing to take on the CFD. Cause at least I do, like, I haven't been involved in that, but I do know the background on why
That
it
works,
exists,
yeah.
what its purpose is, what it's been involved in and approving up to now.
but I
It's-
think Boone served on that the last.
Oh,
few
did
years.
you?
Is that right?
I did, and
The member-
there was a lot of canceled meetings. I think,
Yeah, it's
for
not a
CFD.
big commitment, so
Yeah.
I wonder if he should share that, because he's been on the committee the last few years.
Yeah, that's
Um,
fine.
which means you're the budget man.
You wanna do budget?
Yes,
I mean, I
give
think
being a
most of
smart ass and opening my
Those,
mouth.
those end up being twice a year typically.
Yeah,
because
that's
there's only,
nice, yeah.
like, I'm not gonna convene the committee if there's really nothing to do. Every once in a while, something pops up and we need to have an extra meeting, but we do, you know, calendar quarterly, but that would be my suggestion, because at least, Boone, you were on it the last 2 years, right, with Harry,
Wait, CFD or budget?
CFD?
Yes, I
Mhm.
think we flip-flopped.
Yeah.
So I think the question is, so budget committee. So wait,
So Jason would chair budget.
budget, I take over CFD. And then we
Katie's
wait for all the
to
members.
facilities,
Yeah,
and then, but do we need to fill that member spot?
for facilities.
But I thought we talked about waiting till.
Well, I
next
think
month.
that's the idea, that
That's
we
the
wait for the
only
member
one.
spot.
But not for the one
Oh,
that
not
you're,
for facilities.
yeah.
Oh,
But I mean,
right.
I think it's good information that Jason will step down if someone else wants to serve on facilities.
No, I don't.
What's the meeting for that one?
Sorry.
Friday?
11:30 on Mondays.
Monday.
Mm-mm. Realistically, no,
Let's-
that
let's-
just
Yeah.
does not.
We can leave it. We can hold it for next time.
Yeah.
But we do need somebody in the.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll do it, it's fine, Monday. And it's usually half an hour now.
It's an hour,
So, okay.
it's every
Or
Monday.
lunchtime.
11:30
Okay.
to 12:30.
Always on Zoom though.
Yeah, it's
Every
always
Monday?
every Monday. Immediately.
I'm
No,
being-
that's
$160 me up and down,
That's,
and probably
that's the
another
thing,
3
like,
minutes
you
to go.
can't do it,
No,
then
I can.
be real
that's
about
like
it, cause
Prime board meeting.
it's, it's like a real thing that
Yeah.
happens every week.
Okay, so we have our officers, we're holding on liaisons, we have for the budget committee, Jason is chairing, and then for the CFD, Boone is chairing, and then facilities committee, Katie is chairing, and we'll fill the membership of the committees at our next meeting.
Should I give up CFD? It's I'm so crazy. Do you wanna do CFD, Mila?
Chair it?
Yeah.
She's a big kahuna. She's gotta chair all the meetings. You could chair a meeting for crying out loud.
Well, no, just because the facilities committee is really that.
But yeah, CFD, like, it's like twice. We'll make it work.
Okay,
I just think it'll be good because you've sat on it.
Yeah.
You're familiar with the content.
I am not at all familiar with it. I'm barely familiar with what it is. Real talk, sorry. Okay. So we have a slate for
Plan.
now, a tentative plan. Alrighty, thank you all.
just to be clear, that's all kosher, right? That we put in?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Catalina, I'm so sorry.
Go for it. Mhm.
Do I have to formally resign my seat or anything, or did it magically happen?
Oh, it basically Camila just appoints whoever she likes.
No,
No,
No, no, no, no, no.
Trustee
For her.
seat.
My trustee seat
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
because I
Brought it
switched
into existence.
today. It just magically
Yeah,
happened.
I swore you in, so it's all
So it's good.
ceremonial, because everything's already been taken care of by the county.
Perfect.
Okay, so then moving on to the next item, which is the board vacancy notice and call for applicants.
Yes, so I'll go ahead and take that one. So this is just, there is a notice of vacancy that does need to go up. That is up in 3 places in the library, at the doors, at the entrances, and at the book drop. And it's basically just letting the public know that we're doing an appointment process with the details, as well as where on the website to go for the full information. Since this is the last meeting of the year and the applications are due the 31st, I just wanted to make a public announcement again here at the board meeting that we are accepting those applications. I put the certification of qualifications form here, which also outlines what needs to be turned in by applicants. It's all online. Applicants can also, if they like, choose to print this out as well as turn in their resume and statement of purpose. And we hope to get lots of applicants for this, so we about half a month left for people to do that.
Are you able to allow to share if we've had any?
I know we've had one application. Yeah.
One that I know of so far.
So I know that's finishing out the last of the
Katie's term.
large
Yeah.
seats. So in reality, what district would that?
Open.
So
Four?
4 is what's open.
It'll
So
turn
we,
into 4.
we put on the top of the application this time that, it is an at-large seat, but for 2 years. If the person doesn't live in District 4, that they would not be able to run in 2 years from now.
Yeah,
It's
Well, and potentially District 3, depending on what you decide to do,
That's true.
Jason.
I've stated publicly that I'm not running.
So, I mean, if they live in District 3, they could also run in 2 years then as well.
Yeah.
Wait,
But not.
Oh, I
not for the
see.
seat.
Not for
Not
the
the
seat.
But the
For
point is like,
Jason's.
yeah, like if they live in districts 3 or 4,
mhm,
then they'd be able to run in 2 years. If
Right.
they live in districts 1, 2, or 5, it'd be a 2-year appointment and that's it.
okay, got it.
Yeah,
And
and
thus far, the one candidate is not in district 3 or 4.
Oh,
But to me, as long as they're aware of
Yeah.
As long as they
it
know
could be a
that.
binary
Yeah.
type of thing,
mhm,
that's fine, you know?
okay.
So spread the word, but typically we usually get the apps right at the end.
Yeah.
And you know, the last time, I think we had 7 or 8.
they all came in like the same, not within days.
Yeah, it was pretty
That
close
was
to the
close,
deadline.
yeah.
So keep spreading the word. I've been talking it up when I've been going to community events, so
Nice.
here we go.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Thank you, Catalina. Is there any correspondence? Are there any proposed future agenda items? Okay, then we are adjourned at 6:50.